Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to testify here today. My name is Joe Lovett, and I'm Executive Director of the Appalachian Center for the Economy and the Environment. We're a nonprofit policy center located in Lewisburg, West Virginia. I'm also a lawyer who has been attempting for too many years now to enforce surface mining, coal mining, and other environmental laws that Federal and State regulators refuse to enforce in Appalachia. I learned a word here today, permitorium, I think, which really I don't think is a word at all, except maybe in George Orwell's world. But in any event, it's certainly not an accurate description of what is occurring on the ground in Appalachia. For years now, every permitting agency has issued any permit to the coal industry that it wants at any time. This is the first time the coal industry has met any resistance to its permitting, and it doesn't like it. I would note that no operator has the right to a permit. It has to comply with the law, and none of the permits for mountaintop removal comply with the law. That's why EPA is doing what it's doing now. EPA's actions to regulate surface mining in the region during the past 2.5 years have been necessary not only to enforce the Clean Water Act against mining operators, but also to ensure that regulatory agencies comply with the law. Too often, State and Federal agencies in our region see their jobs not as enforcing the law and protecting the environment and the communities in the region, but as protecting coal operators from having to comply with the law. Rather than forcing mountaintop removal operators to conform their actions to the law, Federal and State agencies bend or change the law to accommodate destructive mining practices. Make no mistake, this is not about mining in general. It's about mountaintop removal. EPA's actions go to mountaintop removal. Mountaintop removal can't be conflated with all mining. So mountaintop removal should be stopped. It can't comply with the law. It's hurting the people of our region and stealing its jobs. The United States Army Corps of Engineers continues to disregard its duties under the Clean Water Act by issuing permits to mountaintop removal operators. The Corps is literally overseeing the illegal destruction of our mountains and streams. For years, the Corps has issued permits for huge mountaintop removal mines with little more than a wink and a nod, and the unlawful issuance of the permit to Arch's spruce mine is a paradigmatic example of the Corps' refusal to enforce the law. In the past 2.5 years, EPA has taken 3 significant steps to enforce the Clean Water Act relating to mountaintop removal mining. It entered into an enhanced coordination process with the Corps for the issuance of 404 permits. It vetoed Arch's Spruce 404 mine, and it issued a guidance document on conductivity levels in Appalachian streams. None of these actions should be controversial. Taken together, they merely accomplish the minimum required by the Clean Water Act. Indeed, EPA should take much more vigorous action to enforce the laws in our region. For instance, Arch's spruce mine, which the Corps vetoed, would devastate one of West Virginia's most beautiful hollows. Although the industry has tried to foment controversy around EPA's veto of the spruce mine, that veto was necessary to protect the nation's water and was therefore required by the Clean Water Act. The discharges at the spruce mine alone would bury 6.6 miles of high-quality Appalachian headwater streams. That 6.6 miles is over 5.6% of the total streams in the headwaters of the Spruce Fork watershed. The mining would remove 400 to 450 vertical feet from the mountains and would place approximately 501 million cubic yards of overburden material in those streams. This is not an issue about procedure. This is an issue about enforcing an act that on its face has to protect water. The mining industry is destroying water at a clip in Appalachia that no other industry enjoys anywhere in the United States. To allow this to continue without regulation would be the mistake. Economically, mountaintop removal is devastating the economy in the coal mining regions as much as it is the mountains. Mountaintop removal is capital intensive. It uses machines and explosives to replace miners. We've seen a slight drop-off in mountaintop removal lately. As that's happened, coal production has remained relatively constant and employment has actually increased. And of course, the public health impacts may be the most troubling of all. We see that research is showing now that there are birth defects associated with people living near mountaintop removal mines. So all in all, mountaintop removal is an ecological, economic, and public health disaster that does not comply with the Clean Water Act. EPA is merely enforcing the Act, and if anything, we think should more stringently enforce the Act. And I hope that Congress will not do anything to limit its ability to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lovett.